We are very unique in our opinions sometimes, and in this video particularly, we are going against the grain.
Yes, every single statistic, every single bit of racket spec, and every other review we have had a little look at says the exact opposite of what we thought. So stay tuned. Maybe we're right and the rest of the world's wrong. Or maybe it's us.
Hello and welcome back. We have Ben and Josh here from PH Tennis, and today we are going to be taking you through one of our versus videos.
Say that again.
Versus.
Yeah, very good. Yes, we have the brand new Wilson Ultra 99 Pro.
Bit of a mouthful.
Yeah.
And the Wilson Blade 1619. And you may be thinking, as I was, when this was suggested, why compare them?
Well, there's a very good reason why we're comparing them, because we've been asked incessantly by you guys to...
Incessant.
Yes, to put them together and see what we come up with.
And I guess it kind of makes sense. On the surface, both made by Wilson, so that's often interesting to compare within the brand to see what actually is different. Both 305 grams, but that's pretty much where the similarities end. Yes,
the Wilson Ultra Pro is a slightly odd racket. It doesn't quite fit in with the rest of the Ultra silo, as you would say.
Yes, it is an Ultra only by name. It is completely different to the Ultra 100 and the L and the UL. It is a player's frame, a pro stock frame, a control frame at heart. The Blade being Wilson's control family and the Ultra being Wilson's power family, you might think it's power versus control, but this Ultra Pro sits slightly differently, which is why it is a more interesting comparison than you may have first thought.
Yes, shall we get into the nitty-gritty of the actual details?
Yes, so the specs of these rackets, as we've already mentioned, they are both 305 grams, but other than that, the specs are all similar, but just a tweak different.
Yes, the 99 Pro has a 99 square inch string pattern, believe it or not, clues in the name.
And of course the Blade comes in with a 98 square inch head.
Yes, I have 16 main strings and 18 crosses.
Do you?
Yeah.
I have one extra, I have 16 by 19 on this Blade. However, on the string pattern, something that we could have noticed straight away when you pick up and look at the string pattern side by side, you can see, although this does have one extra string in it, because of the huge gap at the bottom, it's a much tighter string bed. It's a much more open string bed in the Ultra. So maybe we should get more power and more spin, but who knows? Yes,
it's always worth considering the string pattern is the number of strings you have, but where they're placed in the frame makes such a huge difference. So actually, it's the density that we really care about. And a little test you can do, get your pinky finger, easily fits through the middle here.
This is new.
And I'm sure it won't in that one, if you give it a go.
But I've got a different pinky finger.
Jeez.
Nothing but scientific.
Can't get through. There you go.
So dense. So dense. We have strung them both with Luxolon 4G Soft, probably our favourite Luxolon string. I don't know the tension.
50.
£50.
There you go.
So yeah, we're going to get on court, test them out, see which one we prefer, which playing style we think we'll enjoy each one, and of course go through our usual categories.
Right.
Be right back.
You didn't say put it through its paces.
No. This section is called First Thoughts. What are your thoughts?
Like we alluded to earlier, we have differing opinions from the rest of the tennis cognoscenti on this one.
We do.
We do. Everything that these rackets suggest, everything, all the stats, all the spec, all the sort of technical information, the reviews that other people have done, all say one thing, and we both think it might be the opposite, which is a bit strange.
Yes, before we delve into too much detail on that, my overriding first thought of both rackets is they're both very, very good rackets. They're both very enjoyable to use. They both are similar. They're of a similar ilk. They suit a similar style of player, maybe just at different levels of that style. And that is what we shall come on to.
Yes, we used the Blade years ago, I think.
Years ago.
And I forgot how much I really liked it. And we used the Ultra fairly recently, but little peek behind the curtain to you all, we got this very early from Wilson, had to give it back to them. So I've been waiting to use this because I really, really liked it, and nothing's changed. Really love this. really like that. And it's interesting what you say about levels of player, because I think that might be it. Are we about to shit on every other tennis reviewer for being not good enough at tennis? That's why they think it's the opposite.
Oh, maybe.
Yeah, cool.
Let's get into our categories. The first category, and of course the most important, is power. And you may be thinking, God, it's an easy category, isn't it? You got bigger head size, open string pattern, less string, wider frame,
Higher swing.
higher swing weight.
Yeah.
God, it's got to be more powerful.
But we are not sure that it is.
Wow.
And this is a bit tricky, but we have just been on court.
We have.
You can tell because we're standing the other way around.
A little sweaty.
Yeah. We have put these rackets through their paces, and this is more powerful when you are right at the top end of your power, when you are taking big long swings and you're hitting the ball really hard and you've had time to wind up. 100% agree, the Ultra Pro is more powerful.
Some would say chops at the ball.
There you go, big cuts, big swings. Ooh. However, if you do not have that time, if you are playing with a shorter swing, a little bit more on the back foot maybe, just defensive, just in terms of trying to get easy access to basic power, we both think the blade might actually have the edge.
Yeah, and I think this may, and I don't know why, actually. I was going to try and explain why. I don't know why, but when part of our testing process, we set up a drill where one player is on all-out attack and absolutely smoking the ball. And if it goes out, it goes out. We don't really mind.
It's fortunate, isn't it?
We're getting to the point where actually, when we did that, the Ultra didn't ever go out, and the blade did, but we'll get to control in a minute. But when you were defending and just sort of rallying that ball back that was getting really hit hard, the blade was so much easier. So much easier. Just with a little bit of timing and just a little push here and a little stroke there, you got depth, you got pace still on the ball.
Yeah.
With the Ultra, it just went flimsy.
Yeah, it seems like if you want to hit the ball hard, you're going to use the Ultra 99 Pro.
Yeah.
If you are trying to get as much power whilst you're not hitting it hard, does that make sense? You know, if you're trying to be careful, you get more power, everything else being equal with the blade, and it doesn't make any sense at all.
It doesn't.
It doesn't.
But to conclude, on the category of power, on pure power, so when you hit the ball at the same speed, with the same amount, with each racket exactly the same, which one does the ball have the higher speed? It is the Ultra.
Yes.
But when the rackets are at lower speeds, it's the blade.
There you go.
Figure.
There you go.
There we go. The next category is spin. And you may be thinking, with the higher string pattern, with the more open string pattern, the bigger head size, the higher swing weight, the Ultra will give you more spin.
Go figure. It doesn't.
No, so this one I'm going to disagree on slightly, and I think I know because it has the higher swing weight, you do generate a load of spin, and you get a little bit of flex in it.
Yeah.
The blade feels like that because this has less weight towards the head. It's more manoeuvrable. You can swing it faster, and therefore, you can get more spin because your racket speed is higher. So it has the illusion of spin creation because it's so manoeuvrable. Not that that isn't manoeuvrable, but in comparison, this is a lot more manoeuvrable. It's less stiff, and therefore you feel like you're generating loads of spin, but in a purely scientific way, the Ultra does generate more spin. Similar to the power argument, in fact.
Yeah, it's not the rackets, it's how you use the rackets, and it's how the rackets enable you to play that ultimately determines what happens. So again, we come back to this style of play and level of play. A higher level player is going to get more power, more spin out of the Ultra, but a lower level player is going to get more power, more spin from the blade.
Very well put.
That was beautifully done.
Very good.
There we go.
Control. And you may think, well, if one's more powerful, the other one must have more control. And you'd be wrong.
No, this is complicated again. This is easily the most complicated racket test, isn't it?
Yeah, and this is where we really come into the levels of player. These are both controlled rackets at heart. They're both rackets that you, the player, has to put the input into, and the racket controls and dampens down a little bit what you do. We think power rackets add, more neutral rackets maintain, and control rackets just suck a little bit out to make you work a little bit harder. And in the Ultra, the harder you work, the faster your swing, the more stable the racket becomes and the more control you get, which is kind of crazy. When you're really gunning it, it just stays in the court. It's kind of magic. The blade, at all the speeds up to top speed, it gives you more control. But then as you really start to push it and really start to gun it, you lose a bit of control. And it almost felt like you were spraying a bit wild, which is crazy with a blade, but it's just because it's in comparison with basically a pro stock frame.
When you say you mean I.
The royal. You, the people.
Yes, it fundamentally, down the other end of the court, when Josh was on full out attack, it was much faster with the blade, but all over the place. There was no control at all. Whereas with the Ultra, it was plenty fast enough, and it felt like it just tightened up, got solid, and the ball was just in constantly. It was rather remarkable, the difference, to be honest.
Remarkable.
And then from the other end of the court, what you're feeling in your hand is exactly that. If you're right on the ragged edge, this feels like it just starts working a little bit better. I was trying to think of an analogy, and I think maybe it's like a Formula One car. Like, you can't drive a Formula One car slowly, because they don't work slowly, because they need
tyres don't warm up,
and the aero doesn't, all that sort of stuff. So this is kind of like a Formula One car. If you're good enough to drive it, everything's going to start working.
Well, it's still a Ferrari, but it's just not an F1 Ferrari.
Yes, and any old rich fat guy can drive a Ferrari.
Thanks.
I'm looking at you. Well, you drive one. Thanks.
Buy some more Rackets, people. I just thought of something interesting that came out whilst we were playing. Side note, Joe's getting very annoyed at how long this category section is. That Ben highlighted the dwell time on the blade, and I think it's important here in control to talk about dwell time, a more flexible frame, the blade, compared to the stiffer Ultra, for sure.
At high speeds.
Especially at high speeds, but generally as well, I think. The beam width is thicker, and so the blade gives you that feeling of control, dwell time, at all ranges of shots until you get really fast swing, and then it flips over.
Yeah.
So there you go. Final category, it's been a long category section.
Sorry, Joe.
Touch and feel. We have the classic feel of the blade, kind of almost what it's known for, and the old school H19 classic frame with some new tweaks in it. There's actually a strong rumour it has a little bit of counterwear in it.
Oh yeah, strong rumour.
Yeah, I don't know.
Josh has been in those underground seedy tennis bars picking up these rumours. Yeah, and on feel, they both feel like really, really nice tennis rackets, don't they? Yep. Wilson don't make rackets that feel bad. They're all really good. These two are no exceptions. The blade was sold as a sharper blade. 100% agree, it's sharper. What is interesting about the Ultra is how the feel changes again with play style and play level. So I think at slow speeds, when we very first walked on court and we're knocking up in the service box and we first go back to the baseline, it felt really sort of old school, that kind of loose floppiness you used to get from rackets of this ilk. Oh, you said ilk earlier. Rackets of this type, but when you start turning it up a little bit and you get into its sort of play zone, it really tightens up, sharpens up. So more consistent feel.
Yep.
I guess more variety, but that's not necessarily good or bad. There you go, it's useful, isn't it?
Yeah, for me, if I was picking purely on feel, I think I would go for the blade. I think I prefer the feel and the feedback on contact. Even though generally I prefer a stiffer frame, I accept that the feel is better with a slightly more flexible, higher dwell time, etc. So we were just deciding how to wrap up this video, and we came up with a simple question: which racket would you choose and why, as briefly as possible, Ben?
Briefly as possible.
Or which racket, firstly?
I really want to like the Ultra 99 Pro. I really want it to be the racket. There's something about it.
Pro.
Yeah, but I think that's ultimately it, and you have to really commit. So basically, what I'm saying is, if I want to use this, I am going to be training. I'm going to be out on court every day. I'm going to be pounding the ball up and down because you've got not enough. I just think you are committing to. You're committing to being a Formula One driver. There's no more coasting anymore. You're going to have to work for every single ball, every single time. And whilst I'd like to be able to do that, maybe with a little bit of humble check on the old ego, day in, day out, I think it's got to be the blade, but I don't want it to be.
Interesting take on brief.
Yeah.
I would take the Ultra.
There you go. I think that's fundamentally better players will prefer the Ultra weaker players will use the blade, or if your ego isn't rampantly out of control, you will also use the blade as well.
No, Ultra.
No, blade. That's perfect. As usual, thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe so you never miss more gold like this from PH Tennis.
I love gold!